welcome to episode 2 of Beth's Top 5 of the Week, creepy and possible paranormal videos found on the web. I don't own the copyright to these videos. The copyright belongs to the people who actually put these videos on the web, and if you enjoy what you see, please go subscribe to them, give them a like, do what you can to give them some love. Now, the first video to make it to our list this week comes to us from the YouTube channel Fitri Hottie. You may have seen it before, and it's called Office Ghost 3 AM. Now, everything seems to start out normal. The security cameras are just scanning the place. Everything seems quiet. Then there's a few noises, and then things seem to kick off. Now let's analyze this video. Now, the chairs that are rolling around, especially this scene where the chair, it seems like it's pushed from the desk. It's dark under the desk, so you can't see if somebody's under there pushing the chair out. And again, with the other chair, from the camera angle far away, there could be somebody hiding under that desk as well. Now, the doors rattling could be something as simple as somebody hiding behind them and rattling the doors, especially where you see this one where the door handle is shaking violently. But did you see the shadow? Was that a shadow of somebody who was hiding behind the door, or was that something else? Huh. Now the monitor is flickering on and off. Could be a simple explanation. Maybe they're all plugged into the same circuit and the switch is on the other side of the wall and somebody's just flicking them on and off. Or maybe it's a possible electric problem. Now the filing cabinets, that could be a little bit tricky, or not. They could be uneven, for instance. But one thing I know about those filing cabinets, I've worked in offices, and when they're full, they're quite heavy. Even though once you get them open, they do kind of slide easily. So could the filing cabinets be slightly uneven? Then how would you get them to rush open like that, like bang open like that? There'd have to be possible some engineering behind that. There would have to be some kind of pressure release. And with the papers flying all over the place, again, a little bit of engineering there. Fishing wire isn't going to just do that. You're going to have some kind of air pressure behind all that. So when I first saw this, I'm like, yeah, there's a little bit too much going on here for it to be paranormal. It seems like it's all a setup. But you actually look at it, and it's like you try to look for the explanations, and yeah, sure, it could be a setup. But I'd like to know exactly what kind of engineering went behind those drawers and the papers and everything. So, I don't know. I'm on the fence with this one. What do you think? Do you think this is an elaborate hoax set up by some very bored staff making a mess of their office, which their boss would probably yell at them for? Or do you think it possibly could be paranormal? Please leave your comments below. Now this next video you've probably seen before. It's one of the most famous ghost videos out there. And I wanted to put it on this list. Now you'll find copies of this video all over YouTube, but I wanted to find the original source, and I think I may have found it. It's a channel called Historic Royal Palaces. Please go over there and like them and subscribe. And the video is called Hampton Court Palace CCTV Ghost Skeletor. Now, what happened in the winter of 2003, the security cameras caught something interesting for 3 consecutive nights. The first night, the security doors flew open and nothing was there. The second night, they flew open, but this time it looked like somebody in period costume came and closed the doors. The third night, again, the doors flew open, but there was nothing there. And there's also claimed that a woman who was taking a tour at Hampton Court around that time could have swore that she saw a ghost of a man in robes. Let's take a look at the video. Now this figure, nicknamed Skeletor by some, is a very imposing, spooky little figure. And some have debunked it as, oh, it's just someone in period costume that helps out with the tours. Now, a lot of the palaces and places in Britain, what they do is they do have people dress in period costume, so when the tourists come around, they can give a bit of history. But the palace says that no such tours involving people in costume were happening that day. One also has to question, if that was a person, staff, that saw a security door open, you would think that they would report it to security, because having a palace like Hampton Court vulnerable to somebody possibly breaking in would be kind of a big thing, and security would have to be notified. But there are some believers out there. Some believe that this is King Henry VIII, who actually lived in the palace. Now, if I was to believe it was a ghost, I'd have to say it was Cardinal Wolsey. Why? Because if you look at the outfit that it's wearing, the figure is wearing, it looks very similar to what an outfit a cardinal would wear in King Henry VIII's time. Second of all, because Cardinal Wolsey built the palace, not Henry VIII. Henry VIII actually used to go visit there with Queen Catherine of Aragon. And Wolsey was getting more power, and there were rumors that he was getting more power than the king, and to keep on Henry's good faith, he actually gave the palace to Henry as a gift. Now, Cardinal Wolsey was part of Henry's inner circle, a trusted advisor, you could even say a friend. But when Catherine of Aragon failed to produce an heir to the throne for Henry, Henry's eyes turned to Anne Boleyn, and he tried to obtain a divorce, and it was Wolsey who was in charge to obtain that divorce for him. Wolsey failed. Henry turned on him like he would so many others after that. Later, frail and old and sick, Wolsey was called to King Henry's court to possibly face punishment for failing to get him his divorce. Wolsey, on the way there, died, possibly avoiding beheading, hanging, drawn, and quartering for being a traitor. So if it is true that ghosts haunt places where they suffered most emotional trauma or they were most attached to, I think it would be Cardinal Wolsey, not Henry VIII, even though Henry VIII did love this palace. But what do you think? Do you think this is possibly a character actor in costume and, the palace is just covering it up because they want the story to spread and get more exposure for their tourists? Do you think it's possibly Henry VIII? Could it be Cardinal Wolsey? I would love to know in the comments below. Now, the next video on our list actually comes from the YouTube channel from Daily Mail. It's called Baby Monitor Catches Ghostly Figure Walking Around Girl's Crib. Let's take a look. Now, if you want to know a little bit more about the video, the context behind it, please go to the link below to the Daily Mail page, which I have linked to this particular story. Now, if you look at this video, it does look like somebody's walking by, and the baby does seem to be reacting to something being in the room with it. Now, what I would like to see is an extended version of this video where there's more of a beginning to it, where you can see what happens. Did it manifest in the room? Did it just appear? Because as you can tell, it was spliced so that it's there and then it walks across. Now, that's a little suspicious. But as it walks across, you can see it kind of disappear and you can kind of see through it. There's nothing, it's not solid. But with Adobe After Effects nowadays and such programs, even footage like this can be falsified. And could it be a reflection of somebody walking outside or somebody walking on the other side of the room? But if you go to the article, the parents do seem very compelling and scared that they actually caught this on their CCTV. I don't know. My jury is still out on this one. But I'd like to know what you think. Do you think this is a real ghost? Or do you think that this is possibly a hoax or there's another explanation for it? Please put your comments below. This one almost made the top one in this list, and you'll see why. This video comes to us from the channel JimmyNut22 on YouTube. Now, the following video, when I first saw it, did spook me quite a bit. And it was a video that was submitted to him personally, so if you like the video, go to his channel and hit the like button. This video was filmed on September 14th, 2003 at the Wingate Hotel in Illinois. What happened was that there was screaming coming from a hotel room and they were getting complaints from other customers, so they sent a security detail down. Take a look what happened.
We're sure that no one's checked into that room, correct? John, just wait. We're going to get a hold of the police, so John's gonna enter the room real quick, just to check, make sure, see what's going on. Wait one. John? John, are you there? Okay, Amy, John wants you to call the police right now if you don't mind. He says no one's in there, but that all of the furniture's been turned upside down and the hold on. He says the carpet's been ripped up and that the shower is on, but nobody's in there. Man, that's
Now that screaming does send chills up your spine. But did you see what happened after he walked into the room? Did you see what came out the door? Let's replay that. Did you see that? Now what would you do if you were the security guard? It's a little bit freaky. But some have claimed that it's been a hoax and it was all perpetrated by the staff. But I don't know. What do you think? The screaming is definitely scary. And who knows what thing came out behind him. But unfortunately, we don't see inside the room in that. But you know what? I'm believing this one. I'm about 3/4 the way there. What do you think? Do you think this is an elaborate hoax? Or do you think this is a great piece of evidence? Please leave your comments below. Our number one of the week I actually found on 4chan. It was in the postings and I followed the link and it led me to a YouTube channel. Now when you click on the link, it brings you to this channel, Adventurer Allah. And thank goodness for YouTube Translate, because he translated it, and the title of the video is Adventure House of Talismans and Very Scary Events. Now I tried to see where this guy is located. I do believe he's probably in the eastern part of the world. And this video is kind of ominous. And you just look at this house, it's abandoned, huge, and amazing. And some pretty creepy things do happen to him when he goes into this house.
في أحد؟ بسم الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نرجع للحمام. نرجع للحمام. في أحد؟ في أحد في المكان؟ في أحد في المكان. بسم الله. ايش هذا؟ بسم الله. معقول الحمامة سوت الصوت هذا؟ بسم الله. يا اخوان ورب الكعبة اصوات ما هي طبيعية. في احد في المكان؟ بسم الله. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء. الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. خفافيش هذه وضعها خطير، وضعها غريب. هذه الغرفة فيها بلاء. بسم الله. بسم الله. بسم الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. 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 بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل فيكم. حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل فيكم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء. بسم الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم، لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم، له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض، من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه. يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم، ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء، وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤود حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل فيك. حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل فيكم. حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل.
So the noises in the house, yeah, the bird could have done some of them, but the running of the footsteps and the heavy furniture being moved, he almost didn't pan right in time, but the couch definitely did move. You can hear it. And you could say, oh, some of his friends might be hiding and doing that, but you could hear the actual fear in this guy's voice and how dusty that place is. If somebody was like moving the couch and then running away and doing other things like this, there'd be clouds of dust all over the place. And another thing, when the doors start slamming on him, you can see at one point where he kicks open a door and he shows that there's nobody behind there. And you can hear the fear in his voice. And some of the phrases that you hear him repeat over and over again are actually prayers to Allah for protection. So again, this one, I picked this one as the top one this week because it's creepy, it's a little bit compelling, and it spooked me, which is hard to do. So please go down to his channel and watch his other videos and hit a like. His videos are quite spooky. So what did you think of this week's top 5? Did you think, some are explainable and they're hoaxes? Do you think some are paranormal? Did you find any of them creepy? I would love to hear your comments below. Thank you again for joining us. And until next week, sweet dreams.